On February 6, 2021, the quiet neighborhood of East Rock in New Haven, Connecticut, was jolted by the sound of gunfire. 26-year-old Kevin Jiang, a Yale graduate student and U.S. Army veteran, had just left his fiance's apartment when he was shot multiple times on a residential street. Witnesses reported hearing a burst of gunshots around 8:30 p.m., followed by the sound of a vehicle speeding away. Kevin had recently proposed to his girlfriend Zion Perry just a week earlier. The two had posted joyful engagement photos, celebrating their plans for a future together. Kevin was working on a master's degree in environmental science and was known for his kindness, faith, and commitment to service. His sudden and violent death stunned the Yale community and his family, who had just welcomed him home for a celebratory visit. At first, police believed the murder might have been an attempted carjacking. Kevin's body was found beside his vehicle, which remained at the scene. However, the nature of the attack, multiple close-range shots, suggested something far more personal. Within days, investigators identified a suspect, 29-year-old Jiang Pan, a former MIT researcher, and a person of interest with a disturbing connection to the case. It turned out that Pan had previously met Zion Perry when they were both students at MIT. Though there was no formal romantic relationship between them, Pan had expressed interest in her and may have struggled to move on. After learning about Zion's engagement to Kevin, Pan's behavior reportedly changed. Police believe he traveled from Georgia to Connecticut, possibly to confront Kevin. Surveillance footage and cell phone records placed Pan in New Haven on the night of the murder. A warrant was issued for his arrest, charging him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. For months, Pan vanished. A nationwide manhunt followed, with sightings reported in several states. Finally, in May 2021, authorities located him in Montgomery, Alabama. He had been staying at a relative's home, living under an alias and carrying large amounts of cash, fake IDs, and several cell phones. Pan was extradited to Connecticut and formally charged with murder. The prosecution argued that Pan had carefully planned the crime, traveling hundreds of miles with the intention of confronting and killing Kevin. His defense team pleaded not guilty on his behalf, but details presented in court painted a picture of a man obsessed and driven by jealousy. Kevin's family, who had emigrated from China when he was a child, described him as a loving son, a devout Christian, and someone who believed in helping others. His life had been full of promise, cut short by an act of senseless violence that left a community mourning and a fiancé devastated. As of 2025, Jiang Pan remains in custody awaiting trial. Prosecutors are seeking the maximum sentence, and Kevin's loved ones continue to push for justice in his memory. Kevin Jiang's murder was not random. It was a calculated act committed by a man whose jealousy turned into rage. It ended the life of a young scholar, soldier, and fiancé, whose future had only just begun.